Alright everyone, welcome to the Black and Intellectual YouTube channel. If you're watching this on my blog, welcome to my blog. If you don't know what my blog is or where it's located, you can check it out at www.blackandintellectual.com. I'm gonna do a video today that I probably should have done days ago. I want to talk about kind of the whole situation and very briefly touch on the situation about Omarosa Manigault. She started coming out with those videos and those tapes about a week and a half ago. But I didn't really want to cover it at the time because I didn't think she would say some of the things that she's been saying recently. And I noticed that the media, which can be very schizophrenic sometimes, the media is kind of distanced themselves from Omarosa a little bit, not necessarily because she hasn't brought the receipts. She has brought the receipts, but because she's saying something in particular that it's just one of those types of things that the media and that a lot of people in general in America kind of want to sweep under the rug and kind of want to pretend is not actually or couldn't actually happen in this country. So I know if you watch my previous video, the one I posted before this, I know I said I was going to go over the prison strike and I was going to cover that a little bit, and I still want to do that, but at the same time, like I said, I should have done this video a while ago, so I kind of want to get it out now. And more importantly, not necessarily to talk about what people have already talked about, but to talk about one thing in particular. Okay, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So, Omarosa has been going on a lot of interviews, like still, even though the media hasn't really been talking about her for some days now. She just did an interview today even. And just to recap, for anyone that either hasn't been paying attention to the story or might have forgotten, about a week and a half ago, Omarosa began releasing tapes, shedding some light on how she was fired from her position at the White House. She released this recording that was actually recorded in the Situation Room, which is supposed to be protected from recording devices. But the tape revealed how General John Kelly basically threatened her before firing her. Then she released another tape shortly afterwards exposing the attempt by Laura Trump, Eric Trump's wife, to give her this six-figure job as a way of getting her not to talk after she had been fired, previously. So there's clearly something, more like a lot, that the Trump White House knows, Omarosa knows, that they don't want to get out. Okay, she has a lot of dirt on them. Now, before I continue, there are some basic questions that I have. We all know Omarosa is an opportunist. Okay, we all know she's an opportunist. We all know she doesn't, in my opinion, she doesn't care about the community in so much as she's able to capitalize off of the community when it's convenient for her, like it is now. Like right now, she needs the community because, she spent all of those years, all of that time caping for white supremacy. Now that she's been thrown out and she doesn't really have a place to go anymore, now she's trying to weasel her way back into the community. And you have these black people in the media who are kind of giving her a platform. Now, on the one hand, I'm kind of going to go into this a little bit. I have mixed emotions about this story, because on the one hand, I do like that the Trump White House is being exposed, and I gotta be real, I do like that it's a black woman doing it. I don't like Omarosa, and you guys know how I feel about collaborators. She had no problem colluding with other black collaborators to cover up Trump's N-word tape, for instance. You had 3 black people, who were basically conspiring behind closed doors to try to figure out, how are we going to explain this? She had no problem telling people they'd have to, quote, bow down to Trump. She said all kinds of crazy stuff when it was convenient and when she was getting paid to. She was a major shill, and we all know that. So I don't think the community should just welcome her back with open arms. You know, she's got a lot of proving to do with time attached. So, I mean, and like a lot of proving to do over the course of some years. I mean, she just well, not too recently, but she was just recently in the administration just last year, the end of last year even. She hasn't even been out of the White House for a full year yet. You know, now that she's coming along with some tapes. Now, you know, people kind of want to, you know, welcome her back in. And I see these articles about Omarosa has her black card back. Y'all stop. Just stop. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that some of the information she is coming forward with isn't valuable information, like information that we should actually know. So like I said, I have some questions, a couple questions in particular. And I'm going to pose these questions to the public, whoever's watching this video. And I just want to, you know, get you guys' opinions and see how, you know, the community is thinking about this stuff. So, question number 1. Does she really have all of the tapes she claims to have, or is she putting on a front just to sell her new book? She's claiming, I've seen articles where she's claiming she has 200 some tapes. She's claiming she has all of these, you know, all of this documentation. Do y'all think that stuff is real? Does she really have all of those receipts, or is she just basically trying to sell her new book? Again, being the opportunist that we know she is. Question number 2. Is Omarosa a double agent against white supremacy? Or is she simply mad that her time ran out at the White House? So her time ran out at the White House, which she knew that was going to happen eventually, which is why she has the recordings that she does have. She was plotting against them. Me personally, I think she was plotting against them from the beginning. Okay, but so is she a double agent, or is she just mad? And really, if the circumstances had been different, would she still be in the White House stumping for Trump? And this is simply her way of sticking it to her former boss. Which is it? Now, you guys know I've made several videos exposing black collaborators and how dangerous they can be to the black community. Okay, and Omarosa was definitely a collaborator in every sense of the word. She was the literal definition of a collaborator. But I have to admit, she's smart. Okay, she's a smart woman, very Machiavellian. What she's doing right now. And she had a lot of, I think, foresight to know that no one would believe a thing she says without receipts. And so far, she's come out with those receipts. I mean, some of the receipts anyway. And that's another thing. You kind of have to separate what she's saying from some of the receipts that she's provided. Because she said things that she hasn't really provided receipts for yet. So she's exposing this white supremacist administration, honestly, better than any of the former Trump surrogates and position holders who have left the administration so far. I mean, most of the people who have left the administration have just left. They're not really giving up the goods like that. So that's how you know a lot of these people like Bannon, Gorka, some of the other people, Hope Hicks, and some of the other people, you kind of can tell that they're still on Team Trump. They just didn't want to be politically associated with him anymore. Okay, but you guys kind of know they're still on his team because they're not really in the media divulging secrets like that, the way Omarosa is. So, like I said a second ago, she was clearly plotting against them the whole time, but she's still problematic because she didn't mind taking that money, which is why I still don't trust her. I still don't trust her. And I don't think anyone should fully trust her still, even with all the tapes that she's released. But here's the thing, and I think this is the important thing. There's something Omarosa has been saying that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. And honestly, has honestly just been ignored, because I think the ramifications of what it means if Omarosa is not lying, and if what she's saying about what you're about to hear, if what she's saying is true, I think it's too hard for many people in this country to accept, to be perfectly frank with you. I don't think some people can accept the ramifications of what this might actually mean. Omarosa has said on several occasions that Donald Trump wants to start a race war. Okay, she has said that in several interviews. Listen to this clip from the interview she did with Al Sharpton, and most importantly, listen to how Sharpton quickly changes the subject, which I find very strange. But listen to this.
We have a lot to lose, and in fact, we're losing right now because Donald Trump is disingenuous about his engagement and his outreach. And in fact, I believe he wants to start a race war in this country.
Wow. Let me ask you this, Omarosa. You were attacked by many, including me, in terms of positions, nothing personal. And you took the heat, and you took being called a sellout and all. And then you decided that you were going to come with this book. Some say, oh, she's just selling books. But you went way above and beyond just saying something. You really went and advocated. How did you feel when you saw the president call you a lowlife and a dog after you had taken all of these arrows for him?
All right, so there you have it. So she's made not only statements like the statement you just heard, but she's made other statements in some interviews. She's gone on record saying that we knew of Michael Cohen's hush money, but we knew about basically the plan before it actually happened. She said that Donald Trump hated, or I guess I should say it, in the presence. Donald Trump hates Barack Obama because of his race. Which is something we honestly already know. She said that to Chris Matthews back on the 13th, August the 13th. Which, that's something we honestly know, but to have a former senior official, or senior advisor within the White House, somebody who was talking to Trump personally, on the record stating that is a big deal. Like, that's confirming what people have already said about Trump on social media and all over social media. Which is why Trump has gone after everything Obama has done. It's clearly because it's purely because of race. I mean, there's no other explanation for it, other than the fact that a lot of these right wingers are just racist, and they don't like the fact that a black president got stuff done, and they're trying to destroy everything positive that Obama did, from the Cuba deal, the Iran deal, the Affordable Care Act, anything positive Obama did. It has been the agenda of this administration to erase it and get rid of it. Okay, so what Omarosa said to Chris Matthews on MSNBC last week pretty much just confirms what people in the community have been saying about Donald Trump since he's been in office. And then she did an interview with Jamal Simmons of The Hill today. Like, I'm filming this on the 22nd. She did an interview today saying, quote, and I'm gonna play a little bit of this interview in a second, saying, quote, Donald Trump is a racist and is trying to undermine our democracy. And in this interview that I'm about to play for you guys in a minute, she repeats what she said to Al Sharpton, stating that Donald Trump is trying to start a race war. And again, I want you to listen to how Jamal Simmons doesn't properly respond to that. You notice how there was no follow-up to that statement. I mean, you think a former White House senior advisor who is now exposing secrets from the inside, saying the sitting president wants to start a race war would be something that you might want to know more about. Because that's a powerful charge. But nope, no follow-up. And I don't want to just put this all on Sharpton. I mean, no one has followed up on this. No one. And people are going about acting like the statement hasn't even been made numerous times now, which it has. This is not me saying this or any other blogger. Okay, this is not even an investigative journalist making this claim. This is Omarosa, who sat in a prime position in the White House. And I don't think she'd be saying this if she couldn't prove it. Or perhaps maybe I'm wrong about that. That's why I kind of want to get other people's opinion about this. Because like I said, I'm kind of conflicted on this story a little bit. And this is what no one wants to say about the Omarosa exposure of the Trump White House. This is the big thing that no one wants to talk about. People are being selective in what they want to cover. Part of the problem is this is really honestly a criminal administration with scandals on a daily basis. So many scandals you can't keep up with them. Okay, I get the sense that there is a legit shock within the body politic. I think people know this country screwed up in electing Trump, but a former White House senior advisor saying that the president wants to start a race war is no small thing and should not be taken lightly. Okay, here's the clip I mentioned a minute ago about the interview Omarosa did just today with Jamal Simmons of The Hill, where she repeats what she said to Sharpton. So check this out.
So a lot of examples of, you called them racial things earlier in your career, but a lot of people think of them as being more than that. Do you think Trump is a racist?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's important that when you talk about racist and racial, that's an academic argument. And sure, if I was still sitting over at Howard University having this debate, it would take on a different meaning. So let me be very clear. The things that Donald Trump has done, the way he toys with race, the way he's trying to incite a race war, it is not funny, it's not to be debated. It is very clear Donald Trump is a racist and he's trying to undermine our democracy.
So what these people want to know is, you started to figure that out. Why did you stay so long?
So family, I want to ask you all, should she be taken seriously here? What do you all think? I mean, this is not so much a video where even my views on this are completely cemented. Even with me, I don't necessarily know how to interpret this. I definitely think she's let me put it like this. I don't have any reason to deny what she's saying other than the fact that I would like to see the receipts, which is why I'm kind of getting a little upset about the lack of a follow-up in these interviews. Because I think something like this, you need to follow up and you need to sort of push that envelope and really kind of get her on the record in terms of, what do you actually mean by this? Because I'm truly conflicted. My views are not really set in stone on this. Not necessarily on what she's saying. I don't think there's any argument that Trump isn't a white supremacist at this point. But should we trust Omarosa and the information she is coming forth with, because she hasn't really shown the receipts on this claim yet? The reason why I'm conflicted here a lot as well is because I personally find it hard to believe, knowing she should know she'll come under heavy scrutiny for this claim, or at least maybe she would anticipate, you would think, that she's going to come under heavy scrutiny for making this claim. So you would think that she would have the receipts to back this up. Okay, that's why I'm pausing, where on the one hand I want to believe it, but on the other hand I want to see the evidence for it. And I don't put it past this administration either, by the way. But even Jamal Simmons, he didn't ask her to prove what she's saying and ask her to elaborate. He didn't say any of that. His follow-up question was, well, why did you stay so long? I mean, yes, that is a question I'd like to know too, but not as much as I want to know about the information she has about this race war that she says Trump is trying to incite. So like I said, the media has kind of moved on from Omarosa, I think because of the racial dirt she might have on Trump. And the media doesn't know how to handle the possibility that the president of the United States might actually be involved in something like this. Okay, Omarosa might have to release another tape to get her name back in the news, because they're really trying to low-key cover this up a little bit. Okay, before I end this video, I want to talk briefly about how the Trump White House has used the courts to try to silence Omarosa and really prevent her from releasing some of the more damaging material she has. You can tell in these interviews she's being very careful with what she says and how she says it. So I can only imagine what else she has, and I just want all of it to come out. Nothing more, nothing less. I want every piece of dirt she has on this administration to come out. I think this is information we should know, and you know, I think it's information that we need to know, because this is this country is in the midst of a crisis, and I don't think that's really registering with most people in this country. You don't, like, you can just tell, just going around day by day, it's not registering with people that this country is in the middle of a crisis. You can just see it's not clicked. People aren't getting it. People don't realize how bad it actually is right now. Okay, so that's my 2 cents about the whole Omarosa story. I wanted to really go into this whole issue about, you know, this whole claim about a race war that Trump is trying to start, because I wanted to talk about that, because, you know, literally no one else is. If you've seen another video where somebody else is talking about this, let me know, but I haven't seen it yet. So definitely like the video, subscribe, go to my blog, www.blackandintellectual.com, and click the bell beneath the video to be alerted when I post my new video.